record this class. Vamos a grabar la clase. So let's start. I'd like to start just resting here for a moment on the floor. So here's my left side facing the computer, if that helps you orient, and you can find a just comfortable way down to the mat. And let's do a little skeletal check-in. So I want you to start by moving the low part of your back. So you can put your hands on your pubic bone and your two hip points, if that's helpful for you, just to start feeling yourself taking this movement. So one of the things that happens with folks when we first start trying to discover neutral pelvis, and we talk about neutral pelvis as your hip bones and your pubic bone being on the same horizontal plane. And what will happen is that the natural extension of that is that we'll get an overarch in the lumbar, right? Because you're really focused on trying to find this neutral pelvis. So you'll get the pelvis in neutral, and then sometimes this will create a lot of arch, which actually, for whatever reason, is feeling good right now. I'm just going to hold on to that. And so the way that we neutralize that arch is by bringing the front of the ribs down. So when I'm in a neutral pelvis, you'll see there is my lumbar is not shoved flat to the floor, right? So if you see when I do that, my the front of my body bulges upward, and that's something we want to avoid. One of the reasons why I try to avoid that is because you feel, as you start to move and lift, a lot of compression on the organic body. So the organs that are down here, the intestines, etc., start to feel really pushed on. And what we want to do is avoid that, let the organs kind of sit in a more neutral space. So that's pubic bone, hip bones coming down, and then you pull in at the front of the ribs. So the other thing to keep in mind and pay attention to is that everybody's lumbar curve is like a thumb, is like a fingerprint. It's unique. So some of us have more natural curve in our spine than others, but you'll feel that place over time as you bring the ribs in. And again, another way to think about this is taking one hand to the side of your rib cage and feeling those muscles wrap and pull in, taking the opposite hand to the side of the rib cage, wrapping, pulling in. And what that should do is help you activate your transverse abdominals, which are primarily used for stabilization. So here you can see, now that I've got myself in a neutral pelvis, there is some arch in my back, but it's not up here. So the action of pulling the ribs in is how you lengthen the abdominals, get the pelvis in neutral, and stabilize the lumbar curve. So if that doesn't all make sense right here today, right now, hay que practicar. You just have to keep practicing. And it will start to intuitively make sense to your body. So from that neutral pelvis, or the neutral pelvis, the most neutral pelvis and lumbar that you've been able to find today, I'd like you to begin just bringing one knee up and down. So you're going to let the knee come up and then tap into the floor. Good. So I want you to be able to do, we call this hip disassociation in Pilates, but it's a good thing. So a lot of times what happens when we first begin hip flexion is we have this habit of tucking the pelvis under. And we want to avoid that in hip flexion because, again, it makes the abdomen bulge and it's just not quite as functional in other forms of movement. So say, for example, if you're running or moving upright, you don't want to be in a flat lumbar spine. You want to be able to maintain the natural curve. So just play with being able to redetermine your lumbar curve, your natural curve, your neutral pelvis. And we're going to switch legs. And I just want you to feel. So what also this will do is make us work our hip flexors a little bit less and our abdominals a little bit more because they're participating in the stabilizing. All right, so let's go ahead, pause here for a moment, letting your 2 feet come down, and then I want you to tuck your arms to the sides. And let's just roll your shoulders. Feel the shoulders move away from the ears. Feel the belly pull in. And exhale, curl, peel, lift your pelvis all the way up off of the floor. Take a big breath, and then I want you to articulate the vertebra as you come down. So you're going to come down through a tucked pelvis, right? And then we're going to elongate the spine and bring yourself back to a neutral. Very nice. Good. So let's try that again. So lead by rounding the low back, taking the pelvis all the way up. Good. Take a few breaths on top here. So now when you're at the height of this movement, you want to feel that the pubic bone, and I am a strong proponent, touch your bones. You want to feel that the pubic bone is higher than your 2 hip points. Good. And then you'll feel strong engagement through the glutes and the hamstrings. Just breathe into this. It's always good to go back and move slowly and just review a little bit. How am I trying to move? That's always the question. All right, let's try that again. So leading with your pubic bone, so as the pubic bone comes up, pull your belly in and let all those vertebrae articulate. As you come up, you can push the arm bones down and let the shoulder blades come together. Good, so that each repetition, you're articulating your bones and your muscles just a little better. So let's slowly bring those vertebrae all the way back down and really feel it bone by bone. So you scoop the belly instead of allowing the belly to bulge up. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, so feel this neutral pelvis, feel a neutral lumbar spine, and then you're going to exhale and begin to lift, leading with the pubic bone, the bones of the back coming up from the floor. So you should also feel a little stretch in your knees, stretch in your hips as you send the pelvis just a little bit higher. Very nice. Take one more big breath. Una respiración profunda. And then we're going to pull the belly all the way down deep as we slowly lower, poco a poco, your bones all the way back down to the mat. Good. So exhale. I want you to stretch your arms for a second. You're going to arc your arms to the side, out, and back. So when you arc the arms, let the elbows be the thing that touches down and feel your wrist stay higher than your elbow as you're moving. So your codo, your elbow, is the thing that touches the floor. Good, 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 good. And meanwhile, thinking about your neutral pelvis again. Is your lumbar in a neutral space? Is your pelvis in a neutral space? You can always recheck those bones. In fact, try now right here with your hands right over the pelvis. You're going to take the arms alongside the ears and then set that little triangle right back down over your pubic plate. Good. So we're going to just, again, how do I maintain this stability in my torso while I'm moving my limbs? And it's not that we never take our pelvises out of neutral. We do in a lot of different exercises, but many times we're aiming to be in this neutral or finding this as a starting position. Good. So let's pause now with your arms right over your chest. And then I want you to open to a little cactus shape. Good. And then from here, stretch the arms out. And remember, you'll reach out through the arms as the arms move out, pull the belly in. So you'll stretch, reaching out, estirando los brazos afuera, and then you're pulling the elbows into your sides. So let's try this action just a few more times. And right now you're really letting gravity kind of begin to work the muscles of the chest, a little bit also in your biceps. Good, let's take this one more time. And then we're going to place your hands right back on your pelvis. So now exhale, take just one arm out. Good, and then sweep that arm right back in. So opposite arm out and sweep it in, all the while really checking in with your back. Good. Sweeping the arm out and drawing back in. Last time out and then back in. Good. So this time you're going to take the arm out and it's hovering a few inches above the floor. Let's circle the arm there in the shoulder socket. Really pay attention to all that connective tissue. Good. Letting those muscles work a little bit and then circling the other way. Remembering you're actively keeping pelvis and lumbar stabilized, neutral. Good. Let's change the position. So now your opposite hand, is reaching out across the body, and then you're going to circle. Try to keep your palm facing up. Good. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's circle in the opposite direction. Circulamos otra dirección. Good. So now floating your two hands back to your hip points. Keep your hands here. Raise your right knee over your right hip, la rodilla sobre la cadera, and then you're going to reach the leg out and up, now down and in. So keeping your hands on your torso, try this movement with the leg, la rodilla afuera, arriba, abajo, adentro, afuera, arriba, abajo, adentro, afuera, arriba. So the beautiful thing is when you don't tuck your pelvis, when you do hip flexion, you really have this opportunity to work your transverse abdominis. So when you feel, say for example, your pelvis is in neutral here and the leg is reaching away from you, you should feel work in the abdomen right here, helping you support the reach of that leg. Good. Let's bend the knee, bring it right back down. Trying those actions on the other side. So now, left knee, la rodilla izquierda sobre la cadera. You're going to stretch out and up, down and in, all with a neutral pelvis. Out and up and down and in, afuera, arriba, abajo, adentro, afuera, arriba, abajo, adentro. Last time, afuera, arriba, abajo, adentro. Good. So let's pause. Let's open the arms out into a T shape, and then we're going to stretch your hips. Good. So let the hips move as one here. So what I mean is you're not going to let the back hip separate so much, but instead really try to feel the hip bones move together. Good. And you can push with your bottom foot. This engages the glute, which will stretch the front of your hips. So estirando, you're going to stretch all the way out. Belly pulls in. This is giving me a big stretch here. Good. Try this just a couple more times. Very nice. So now pause, kneecaps back facing the sky, realigning, finding your neutral pelvis. Take your left arm out. Now open your right knee, and we're going to lift and lower those limbs out on a diagonal and then in. So they're reaching away from the body, and you really want to feel the abdomen is stabilizing you here. Good. So the real work happens as the limbs move away. Good. And right back in. Let's go 5 more. Opening, abriendo, cerrando el brazo y también la pierna. Good. 2. And let's take that last time. Now a little pause, bending those limbs, bringing them right back in. Right arm opens out to the side. Left leg extends, the leg opens to the side, and we're going to just open and close out on the diagonal. Reaching the leg, drawing right back in. Reaching the leg, drawing back in. Reaching the leg. Good. And we're just going to take another 5. And exhale to lift. And 4. And exhale to lift. 2 more. Remembering your hips are going to stay steady, supporting leg is steady. Last time. All right, so now from here, let's pause, bending those knees, bringing the limbs right back in. 2 arms stretch, los brazos encima, and now we're going to interlazar. You're going to interlace your fingers, place your hands behind you, neutral pelvis check. So sometimes this is what happens. The back will overarch as you bring the pubic bone down. So to bring the pubic bone down, pull the ribs in, and from there, exhale, lift your head and chest till you see your navel, your ombligo. So now from here, lightly lift, creating a little pulse. So the intention is going to be to keep the pubic bone, hip bones estable while you are lifting your head, mientras elevando la cabeza. Good. So the other thing you'll do is watch your navel. Try not to let it bulge up, but pull it down to create the lift. Let's do 5 more. And exhale, lift 4. Exhale, lifting 3. Exhale, lifting 2. And exhale, lifting 1. Very nice. Lowering your head, coming right back down to the floor. Arms in at your sides. Pull the shoulder blades together, the arm bones down. Let's lift the pelvis all the way up. So again, remember, pubic bone will come higher than your 2 hip points. And then we're going to just first wiggle your toes. So feel that activating the muscles at the front of your ankle and your shin bones. Good, just as you wiggle the toes. And then I want you to tap the heels, and you'll feel how that activates the glutes and the hamstrings. Good. Good. It's like clipping in, Cora. We're doing a little bit of both. So from here, I want you to take one heel up, one heel down. You're just going to do a little foot change with the pelvis lifted. Feels deep work, your glutes, for your hamstrings. We'll go 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Now the balls of the feet, let one tap. Ball of the other foot, let it tap. And then we're going to go right and left here, just letting again, those front muscles at the ankles doing a little work. Good. So now let's exhale, lower the pelvis right back down. Put your hands there on your hip bones, pubic bones, so you feel that the bones move neutral. So it doesn't matter the shape, but everybody's torso is shaped differently. But our bones, those are the things you want to feel on the same horizontal plane. So from here, I want you to do a little foot peel up. So left heel, ball, toe, then set it down, toe, ball, heel. Right heel, ball, toe, set it down, toe, ball, heel. So this will stretch maybe even the front of the ankle as the toes come down. Good. And again, can you work on keeping the bones of your torso and your pelvis stable as you focus on the muscles of the feet? So now you're going to kind of lightly make rain here with your feet, just tapping them into the floor. Good, 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 good. And then let's exhale, push back down, letting the pelvis lift. And now you're going to lift the left heel, ball, toe. Set it down, toe, ball, heel. Remember, you're going to try to keep the pubic bone over the hip points. And lift, toe, ball, heel, set it down. Good, lifting heel, ball, toe, and down, toe, ball, heel. Heel, ball, toe, toe, ball, heel. So you're really scooping from the abdomen, feeling the energy from your glutes. Try just a few more rounds here. Good. And then let's exhale, lift the pelvis all the way back up. Lower those bones back down to the floor. Arms over your chest. Now you're going to lift your 2 knees. Now we're going to reverse that action. Fingertips together, arms open, knees lift. Let's try again. Really watching your belly. So you don't want to shove the back flat to the mat. You want to pull the abdomen in and support your natural lumbar curve as you're lifting your legs. Good. And then let's hold out here for just a moment. Let the arms come to the floor. You'll let your legs travel over to the right. And exhale. Well, I actually went to the left, a la izquierda. Now I'm going to the right. You go your direction back to center. So it's important that from the navel down, you feel the body move together as one unit. Exhale back to the center. And that's going to, again, support this idea of pelvic lumbar stabilization. So here we go. To the left. Now exhale, squeeze the center. Remember, neutral curve here, which is neither your navel bulging up towards the sky or your back being pressed flat to the floor. Good. All right, so let's pause with your knees over to your left side. And then you're gonna take the bottom leg, la pierna izquierda arriba y abajo. Take the bottom leg down and up. Feeling the belly, keeping your hips together. 2 and 1. Exhale. Returning to center, letting the legs move over to the right side, and then once again down and up. Good. And we'll exhale. Take 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Let's exhale. Move those legs back to the center. The arms stretch alongside the ears. The hands come down behind the head, and you're gonna exhale, scoop and lift. Same thing, neutral pelvis, navel deep. Let's exhale, lower the head right back down. Inhale. And exhale, lifting all the way up. Good. So you can feel the shoulder blades peeling from the floor. Inhale, lowering. And exhale, lifting, lifting, lifting. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lower, and then exhale and lift. Let's take your hands behind the thighs, move the knees in, and just hug here for a moment. So now let the tailbone just reach away from the top of your head, and let this be a deep stretch of your hips. Good, and then we're gonna interlace the fingers, move the hands behind your right thigh, reach that leg up in the air, flex the foot, and just feel the hips stretch. Let's open the arms out to the side, and then without anything else in the body moving, let's just circle this leg a few times in your hip socket. Good, and then we're gonna circle a few times the other way. Good. Exhale, close, hug both knees over your chest once again, just for a moment. Allowing the fronts of the hips to release, the sacrum to move down. Slide the hands behind your left hamstring here, stretching, reaching up. Maybe flexing this foot, deeper stretch. And then we're gonna exhale, bring the arms out. And then lightly circle the leg. And then we're gonna circle it around the other way. Let's hug both knees in. And then we're gonna take your two hands behind your legs. Let's exhale, let them stretch up. Good, you can even let the tailbone now rise a little bit from the floor. Move your hands here back behind the legs. Feeling the hamstrings stretching. Let's fold at the knees. And exhale, lift your head. And from there, see about creating a lift coming all the way up. Okay, I'm gonna turn this way on my mat just to give my head and neck a little bit of a break. And we're gonna work on a couple of roll-ups, not too much. So sitting up here for a moment, reach, pull the shoulder blades down the back. And we're gonna exhale and lower. And again, think about the belly pulling, hugging the lumbar. You've scooped into your center and you're gonna let the arms come down and up. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good, let's pause. Open your chest, open your sternum, let your chest move forward. Good, and then the arms can circle out to the side. Good, let's inhale, take a breath, and exhale, sit up. Rounding back just here. So now you're gonna open the arms, reach them to the sides, draw them back in. Inhale and exhale, sweeping in. Inhale and exhale, sweeping in. 3. Inhale, exhale, sweeping. 2. Inhale and exhale. 1. Let's open the knees, stretch, come forward once again. This time the arms alongside the ears, down and up. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Exhale, releasing, coming right back down. So now this time with your palms together, create a little reach, rotation, por la columna, through your spine, side to side. Good, so you want to try to, again, feel this movement come from your center. Try not to let your lumbar fall or your thoracic spine fall too far back, but a little bit of the work of the abdominals is keeping that area lifted. Good. So let's pause here back in the center once again. And now your palms are going to come behind you, down and up. Good. Good. Now let the hands tap the sacrum and reach out to the side. So tap your sacrum, exhale, reach out. Thumbs facing down. Tap the sacrum. Exhale, reach out. Good. Tapping and back. All right, so now we're going to try a full round all the way to the floor. So here we go. Let the pubic bone, tailbone reach towards your feet, and you're going to slowly lower all the way to the mat. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Pause here on bottom, taking a big breath. Move the tailbone towards the heels. Move the belly towards the lumbar spine. And exhale, lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Inhale. Slide your left leg long, your 2 arms out. Take a big breath. Stretch over the leg. And I'm going to try to do a little bit of like the breaststroke here with my arms out. You can feel the rib cage running the length of your right thigh. Reaching the arms back, just reversing that pattern. Good. Inhale, sitting all the way up from deep in the belly, anchoring your sitting bones, and now slowly lowering. 3 and 2 and 1. I want to try another little exercise down here on the floor. So thumb and index finger coming together on both legs. Exhale, just lift your extended leg. And your 2 arms are going to move down and up. 3, down and up. 2, down and up. 1. Let's anchor the left leg on the floor. Take a breath. Lift the head, the chest. So really look at your belly and fire from there to lift all the way back up into a seated position. Your fingertips can stretch out. Take a few big breaths here. Good. Let's exhale, sit tall. Change the position of your 2 legs. So now, once again, I'm going to reach out over this leg. And then again, just create a little breaststroke. Good. Checking in with your neck. And then we're going to change the direction. Good. And then from here, let's inhale, sit all the way up. And we're going to exhale and slowly roll all the way down to the floor. Good. Let's pause on the floor, thumb and index finger together on both hands. You're going to exhale, lift your limbs and lower the limbs. Lifting and lowering. Good. Checking the shape of your spine. And exhale. Let's lower that limb back down to the floor. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale, lift the head, the shoulders. All the while, you really draw the navel deep as you come up to a sitting position. Let's exhale, stretch forward, taking your elbows, allowing them to bend. Good. Allowing your back to really move forward. Beautiful. So let's exhale, sit tall here. And we're going to take your self to stretch forward over your legs. Good. And you're going to add the movement of your spine also. So exhale into a forward bend, floating over the legs, letting the thigh bones move down towards the floor. Good. Let's reverse. Again, kind of flying out over the legs. Good. Let's bring the thumb and index finger together, sitting tall. We're going to slowly lower down to the mat on a 5, on a 4, on a 3, on a 2, on a 1. Inhale. So now if you're feeling this, we're going to lift arms and legs together. We'll take 5 rounds. Again, really pay attention to your back and keeping the navel pulling towards the lumbar. Keeping the shape of the lumbar natural and unique. Let's go 3. And exhale 2. If this is too much for you, if your belly is popping, always just bend the knees. So this exercise can be done just like that. Good. All right. So we're going to exhale, set the legs down. Arms to your sides. Head, chest, shoulders, shoulder blades, rib cage, lumbar, all the way up. I think we felt that. Yes, we felt that. All right. Stretch over your legs. Good. Okay, so let's get our weights. Mine are in my little basket over here. And then let's just sit to face the computer screen in a comfortable position. So it's nice sometimes to do weight work seated because you can really pay attention to what your spine is doing mientras subiendo las pesas. All right, so I'm going to start right here by just pulling one weight. So my 2 weights are in front of my leg, and my spine is nice and long, and my center is engaged. I'm just going to pull one weight up to my collarbone and right back down. Good. Try this a couple of times. Good. So now let's try lifting 2 weights. And then move, your elbows are moving wide. They'll come right back up. Good. Head, chest, neck. Relaxed, released. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. So now from here, let's let your weights move up a few times. So again, feel your head right over your tailbone and feel your navel pull towards your lumbar as you lift. Good, let's try this one more time. All right, and holding the weights up, let one arm come down, same plane as the shoulder, and then right back up. Down 2, 3, exhale, up 2, 3. If your weights are really heavy, this exercise will feel next to impossible. So make sure you're lifting the right amount of weight. Good, so let's try 5 with your weights coming to a T shape and right back up. Exhaling to lift. Exhaling to lift 2. Exhale, lifting 1. Now let's turn your weights in. The weights are overhead. And you're going to let the forearms float back and up. Atrás y arriba. Atrás y arriba. Good. So your forearms in Spanish are antebrazos. Good. Try 3 more. Really controlling the weight as it moves back. And also make sure, a lot of times I see people tip the head forward. You really want to imagine you've got the top of the head reaching towards the sky. Oh, I said 3 more. I think that was more than 3. Exhale, bring the weights in front of you for a moment. And then just lightly twist side to side. Good. So as you twist, you can open the weight towards the side that you're twisting. Inhale as you move through your center. Exhale, twist, reaching the weight. Good. Let's try this a couple more times. Exhale into the reach. Good. And now bring your weights to your sides. Palms facing each other. 2 arms stretch forward. 2 arms stretch back. Arms are moving forward. Arms are moving back. Good. We're going to reach out. And try a couple more. 2. Now, after your next round, I want you to pause and with the weights in front of you, lightly tap them together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, pulling in. Right arm opens and then it closes. Left arm opens. Brazo derecho, brazo izquierdo. Brazo derecho y brazo izquierdo. Good. So now let's get your 2 weights open, or 2 arms open and close. Again, watching your belly, watching your spine. Excellent. Good. So let's hold the weights out for just a moment. Ooh. Right forearm up and down. Left forearm up and down. Right and left and right and left. Good. Can we do 3 together? 3 and 2 and 1. Exhale, release, bringing that down. Check your neck. Do a little stretch here. Chin down, chin up. Keep your weights handy. We may come back to them. I like to take a little break. So let's cross your legs. Take your right arm, or whichever side is making most sense for you. Let the arm come down. So with your top leg, I want you to reach out, tap back in. So we're going to reach out and tap in. Reaching out, tapping in, reaching out, tapping in. So your torso can come down towards the floor as the leg extends. Good. Let's do this a couple more times. Good. And now we're going to hold that leg out and just lightly lift it down and up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your back knee, setting that leg down. Rock your hips. So this is an opportunity to let your abdominals stretch. Let your hips just stretch. Good. And then I'm going to pause with my hips moving forward. Put 2 hands down. Lift my back leg. Take it down and up. 10, 9, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Bend the knee. Take it back. So the knee is going to stay bent and stay back behind your front leg. Let's exhale. Take some weight into your hands, back behind your shoulders. Now the front leg lifts here for 10, 9, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's tap out, tap back, tap out, tap back, tap out, tap back, tap out, tap back, tap out, tap back. 3 and 2 and 1. Setting that leg down. How was that? Are we good? Is that okay? All right. So now just stretch towards your knee on the front leg. I'm going to exhale. I'm making a little fist for wrist, coming back down to stretch. Now I'm going to take the tops of my hands, press them into the floor as I stretch over that hip. Good. Let's exhale. And we're going to change the position. Cambiamos la posición de las piernas, del cuerpo. So we're going to begin with your left hand, or, bueno, la mano abajo. And then we're going to reach out, tap back in. Reach, tap out, tap back in. Reach, tap out, tap back in. Reach, tapping out, tapping in. Reach, and in, and in. Good. Doing a little bit of work in the inner thigh, in the outer hip. 2 and 1. Let's hold back here. Lift and lower. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's here and here where we're working. Bend the knee. Set the leg down, and now you're going to exhale. Roll the pelvis forward. Really stretch the abdominals. Exhale, roll back. So think pubic, or your tailbone comes over, and then you're rolling it back. So you're just stretching the fronts of the hips. Good. All right. So now from here, we're going to pause with your pelvis moving forward. Take your hands to the floor. Good. And now exhale, extend that back leg once again, down and up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Bending the knee. Exhale, sweeping that top arm back. So 2 hands underneath the shoulders. Front thigh lifts and lowers. Exhaling to lift. Exhaling to lift. Good. Take a few more rounds. Good. And now we're going to reach forward, reach back. Reaching forward, reaching back from the femur bone. So try make sure you're not doing this so much with the knee, but right from the hip. So here we go. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Very nice. Exhale, setting that leg down. Now I'm going to stretch my torso over the femur. And just come and breathe. El torso sobre la pierna. And this feels very nice to me. I hope it is good for you. Very nice. Let's exhale. Pull our weight back. Take your 2 hands here to the floor. 2 knees back next to one another. And now on all fours, let's take a moment to cat-cow the spine. I want to also check the time. It's so hard to get started, you all. It's so hard to be motivated. And then suddenly we get going. And then class is over too soon. I don't know if anybody else, I hope some of you have that experience sometimes. But that is often how I feel. So exhale, head and tail coming down. Get a big stretch as you create a big rounding through your back. Good. So make that, as you push the spine up, a really satisfying sensation. Good. And then let the belly arch. I'm always careful with how much I let my spine arch in this position because of my relationship to gravity here. Too much for me is this feels a little vulnerable, but I also have a lot you can see of mobility in my L5S1 lumbar curve. So all of us kind of have to pay attention to where we're either stiff or, for some of us, hypermobile. And Pilates is really useful for helping you, particularly in yoga, find what is a healthy range of motion for the kind of body you have. Some of us are more chronically tight. Some of us are kind of chronically loose or unstable, lax ligament. So we each have, different set of circumstances to work with. Move your thighs back for a moment and take a big, long stretch. And let's inhale, coming back on all fours for a moment. Now reach your right arm, reach it back behind you. And then exhale, scoop and reach it underneath you. And just let the top of your head here come to the floor for a moment. And then if that feels safe and good and comfortable, try sliding the whole shoulder down, and you'll create a lot of space here between the scapula and your humerus bone, and also between the scapula and the thoracic spine. So you can practice shifting your hips over to the right slightly to deepen that stretch if it feels good. Let's exhale and come up. And let's reach your left arm behind you. And scoop and pull the left arm out underneath you. So begin by just letting the top of the head come down here for a moment. And same thing, even before you come all the way down, you can kind of move your hips to the left and just notice if that deepens the stretch there for your arm at all. And then same thing, you can now let the shoulder come all the way down to the floor. And just notice between the humerus bone and your scapula, you've got a little bit more space. And similarly, between la scapula y la columna, between your scapula and spine, you also have space. I can add a little lift of my elbow here, externally rotating the arm and lifting it up. And that just kind of opens this armpit, which is a nice feeling. Let's exhale. So when you come out of these poses, when you come out with your head on the floor, really good to push through the supporting arm and let that guide you up. So in those awkward positions, find a path of least resistance upwards and onwards. All right, so now let's come down onto the abdomen for just a moment. And while you're here, rock your hips a little bit side to side. And then I want you to practice bending one knee, feeling a nice little light kick back towards your sits bone. Okay, we're gonna exhale, release that. Try a little light kick, the opposite knee. Good, and exhale, release that. Try your two knees bending back. Point and flex your feet. Circle your ankles. Allow the knees to travel right and left. The hips can lift and move with your legs. Good. Let's extend your left leg down and now take your right leg over your body, just back behind you. You can bend the knee a little bit and reach the leg. So again, you're just getting a big stretch here through the front of your hip. And letting gravity do that twist. Let's exhale, release, and bring the leg back in. Good. So again, take a little bending, straightening of the knees. Let the right leg now come and stay long. The left leg lift. Come across your body. Just gently stretching the leg behind you. Good. We're going to exhale, release, and allow that to come down slowly and gently. Let's take your hands for a moment into the floor. Exhale, push, lifting up. Good. Let the right knee now bend back towards the head. Exhale, release, let that go. Let your left knee bend back towards you. Good. And then let's exhale, let your two knees bend towards your body, pushing with your hand. Good. Really feeling a stretch through the front of the throat. And then we're going to exhale, let the soles of the feet come together. And let your head come rest here for a moment on the floor. And you'll let the hips get another little opening here. If it feels comfortable, put your hands on your low back, your sacrum. You can feel that area just getting a spread. So you're in external rotation, but they're not having to do any work. Give this a few breaths. And then let's exhale. The legs come out, away from the body. Let the arms come out. And let's just take a few breaths. You can close your eyes. Watch your breath move deep through you. Letting your brow relax, letting your tongue be heavy there in your mouth. And then slowly, when you feel ready, just begin to lightly wiggle the fingers and the toes. You can circle the ankles, circle the wrists, bending your knees once again, rocking the back side to side. We'll push our hands here beneath our shoulders and exhale. Push, lifting through a child's pose and sitting back. From here, we'll Return now to a seated position. Slowly, comfortably. Hands together before the heart. Bowing the head, closing the eyes. Your practice is a gift, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. Namaste.